On the surface, the ancient Indian text known as the Panchatantra reads like a collection of simple children's fables. But look closely at these talking animals, and you will find a highly sophisticated manual for political survival. Written thousands of years ago, this text was explicitly designed as a survival guide for royalty. Woven into its philosophical and religious instruction were hard lessons teaching young rulers how to spot hidden dangers. The core lesson is startlingly cynical. An empire is rarely brought down by an invading army. The fatal blow usually comes from the quietest, most unassuming advisor in your own inner circle. The lion and the jackal illustrates this dynamic perfectly. It sets up a precise power ecosystem. Vajradhanstra the lion provides the absolute power. Beneath him is a wolf, the loyal follower, a jackal, the cunning saboteur, and a baby camel, an innocent bystander placed under his sworn protection. This entire social structure relies entirely on the lion. His imposing authority and physical might keep these natural predators from tearing each other apart. Then, a crisis hits. The lion is severely injured in a brawl with a wild elephant. Unable to hunt, he is stripped of his physical dominance, and the entire group is plunged into starvation. When brute strength evaporates, a massive power vacuum opens instantly. In that empty space, the weakest animal sees an opportunity to take control. Without the threat of physical force to keep everyone in line, the environment becomes perfectly primed for psychological manipulation. The jackal executes his takeover in deliberate, calculated steps. He starts at the bottom of the hierarchy, targeting the innocent camel. He avoids violence entirely. Instead, he weaponizes the young animal's gratitude toward the lion. He pulls the camel aside and pitches a very specific lie. He convinces the young herbivore to offer himself as a meal to save the starving king, promising that such a noble sacrifice will guarantee him a place in heaven and rebirth in a body twice its size. The camel agrees immediately. Notice what is happening to the rigid hierarchy here. By eliminating the lowest rung first, the saboteur has quietly begun dismantling the ecosystem entirely from the bottom up. With the victim secured, the jackal turns to the lion. He knows the king made a solemn vow to protect the camel, so he offers a clever loophole. The vow does not apply if the camel voluntarily offers himself up. To seal the deal and wash away any lingering guilt, the jackal advises the lion to perform religious rites before eating the sacrifice. This ceremonial act completely blinds the king to his own moral failure. The trap is set. A leader's downfall begins the exact moment they allow a subordinate to justify breaking their core principles. While the lion goes off to bathe and pray to the gods, he leaves the freshly killed carcass behind. Now, only the starving wolf and the cunning jackal remain alone with the prize. The jackal immediately pivots to his next rival. He whispers to the wolf, encouraging him to take just a single small bite of the meat to tide him over, exploiting the canine's overwhelming biological urge to eat. The moment the wolf's teeth touch the flesh, the trap snaps shut. As the lion returns, the jackal sounds the alarm, loudly scolding the wolf. Playing the righteous whistleblower, he successfully frames his rival for contaminating the king's sacred meal. The lion, seeing blood on the wolf's paw, attacks in a blind rage. The wolf realizes instantly that the leader will never believe the truth over the jackal's lies. Fearing for his very life, he abandons his loyalty entirely and flees into the jungle, never to return. A master manipulator rarely has to defeat a loyal follower in a fair fight. They only need to manufacture a scenario where loyalty looks indistinguishable from treason. This brings us to the standoff. The wolf is gone. The camel is dead. Only the injured leader and the saboteur remain. Suddenly, an unfamiliar, terrifying sound echoes through the trees, the loud jingling of massive bells. It is just a passing caravan of camels, but the lion has never heard such a noise. Sensing his confusion, the jackal instantly weaponizes the king's ignorance, turning a completely ordinary sound into a source of absolute terror. He tells the panicked king that the noise is Yama, the god of death himself, marching into the jungle with an army of ancestors to avenge the murdered baby camel. This lie works perfectly because of the lion's own recent sins. The guilt over breaking his promise to the camel makes him highly susceptible to religious paranoia. Believing an unstoppable force is coming to execute him, the mighty apex predator turns and runs from his own kingdom. The strongest authority structure can be completely dismantled without a single punch being thrown, as long as a manipulator can successfully control what the leader fears. Look at the aftermath. The physical powerhouse has fled in terror. The loyal follower is exiled forever. The innocent victim is dead. And the cunning jackal sits alone in the jungle, feasting on the prize. Without exerting an ounce of physical strength, the weakest member of the group conquered the strongest solely by applying precise psychological leverage. It perfectly illustrates the Panchatantra's concluding proverb for this tale: "Spurn the company of the wicked, else you will come to grief." True power is rarely about physical strength or unquestioned authority. When the pressure mounts, your survival depends entirely on how rigorously you audit the people you allow into your inner circle.